Welcome. We're here to talk about ways to support yourself and your family during an unprecedented time. I'll introduce myself and our topic in a moment, but before we begin, I hope you might take a moment for some simple self care. To be resilient during difficult times, we can learn to access feelings of peace and ease, regardless of what is happening around us. Starfish are masters at letting turmoil wash around them. They are also excellent models of resilience. Starfish were nearly eradicated a few years ago from a wasting disease in the Pacific Ocean. They are rebounding. I took this photograph in summer 2020 on the Central Oregon coast. The picture is starfish embedded with other shells and anemones. Let's take a few moments to consider ourselves like starfish, resilient and able to hang in there regardless of what is washing by. Let's begin a short meditation by sensing the ground. Like the starfish, we can experience stability as we lean into whatever is supporting us. Notice any contact points with furniture or the floor. Feel connected to these supports in the space that you occupy. Notice also if there are other things or people supporting you in general in your life right now. Give yourself permission to fully accept support just as you allow the ground to hold your body up. Notice breath as it enters the body and notice the breath as it washes through you. No need to change anything about your breath. Just notice it as a starfish might be aware of the tide as it washes over and then pulls back. You might even notice a sound in your breath that is somewhat like the sound of a gentle ocean. You might be aware of thoughts as they enter the mind. No need to push them out, and no need to pay attention to them either. Like the starfish, experiencing the water but staying grounded on the rocks. Let your thoughts simply drift by. No need to latch on to them. Allow yourself to stay curious about the experience of breathing in and breathing out, sensing your breath supporting you in your life. We'll take about a half a minute in silence to just be with breath. I hope you will gift yourself this moment to pause, breathe, and simply be while you let thinking float away. As you continue to pay attention to your breath, recognize your inhale as a source of power, energy, and sustenance. The sound of your breath leaving, like the sea, connects you to all that is. The ground is supporting you. Your breath is supporting you. Experience yourself in this moment as strong, capable, and resilient. If you want to, you can count to notice how long your in-breath lasts. You might count for the same amount on the exhale and start to match the inhale and the exhale for an even, steady breath. Just a couple more times. Enjoy this break to breathe and just be. Once again, notice where your body is touching furniture or the floor, and become aware of the space that you occupy, the lighting, any sounds in the room that you're in. Take a moment to notice how you feel after this short experience of mindfulness. Feel free to return to an inner focus on your breath and sense of being any point during this presentation. It's recorded, so you can revisit the content anytime you choose. Today's training is organized into 4 categories to support well-being for families. The first step is to have a plan for each day. Predictability is calming to the human mind. Having a plan also ensures that self-care is built into the schedule. I'll share some easy ways to get started with organization. Second, I'll share some practical everyday ways to work with big feelings, recognizing that ignoring big feelings worsens agitation. Third, we'll look at additional breathing strategies. And fourth, a few slides will list additional places for mindfulness ideas and support. The strategies for action are noted on the slides with a blue typeface called Ink Free. The 4 steps on this slide are an example of the Ink Free typeface. These are action steps that can be built into a daily routine. Pave's website includes a link to a PDF of this slide presentation to help you reference the slides again. Maybe there are ideas that you want to try. You can make a note or print that section for easy reference. The PDF also includes links to click for further information. I'll take a quick moment to introduce myself and share some basic information about my work. My name is Jerry Clark, and I'm a Parent Resource Coordinator with Parent Training and Information, PTI, at Washington Pave. I've also been a yoga and meditation teacher for about 20 years. Pave stands for Partnerships for Action, Voices for Empowerment. Pave is a nonprofit agency that has supported families in Washington since 1979. Our home office is in Tacoma, and our services are available for free to families statewide. Our resource coordinators provide support and training related to special education. Our services include language interpretation upon request. Our PTI is funded through a grant from the U.S. Department of Education. Please note that the contents of this presentation do not necessarily represent the policy of the U.S. Department, and you should not assume endorsement by the federal government. Pave is not a legal service agency and cannot provide advocacy, advice, or legal representation. Our goal is to empower families by providing information and access to resources. The best way to contact Pave for direct support is to click Get Help at our website, wapave.org, where you can fill out an online help request form. Please note that Pave supports the Black Lives Matter movement, and we include a statement of solidarity with a commitment to action on our website homepage. Quick disclaimer, some resources in this webinar come from a variety of agencies that are not affiliated with Pave. Pave does not recommend or endorse them. They're included here for informational purposes only. Let's get started with our first action step for mindfulness. Have a plan. A plan for the day sets in motion steps toward intentional action. Although planned, The schedule is flexible and includes places to pause and practice mindfulness and self-care. Build in expectations that difficult moments will arise, and not all of them will be immediately resolvable. Each person in the family may need a plan for an individualized recovery strategy, and we'll look at some resources to support that process. We'll also further consider how to include guidance from others and ongoing social emotional learning into the family's schedule. This chart went viral on a site called Motherly. That's mother with a .ly at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. People seem to recognize intuitively that a schedule helps the brain relax because it provides predictability. A schedule also can ensure that all members of a family or community contribute meaningfully to the well-being of all and have opportunities to succeed. Neuroscientists have surmised that the brain spends about 80% of its time and energy trying to belong. Therefore, belonging is a critical aspect of well-being. A well-structured but flexible schedule ensures opportunities for predictability, contribution, and accomplishment, all of which help the brain feel a sense of ease and belonging. Here are a couple of questions to consider when making a plan for each day. 1. Does each person in your family have something predictable to do each day that enables a sense of contribution and accomplishment? 2. Is there a time of day for everyone to discuss those accomplishments and contributions? There are many websites and applications to help with family routines. Here are a few examples of words and pictures to consider when building the schedule. The daily routines chart, pictured in the center of this slide, shows people getting dressed, exercising, playing an instrument, taking a shower. Pictures like this can be found on various websites online, or you can use a combination of words and pictures in your own self-designed calendar. A website called mom.com has some practical advice about building a family schedule and offers templates. For children, the site notes, a schedule brings security, and children tend to respond better when they know what to expect. So do most adults. As noted earlier, a schedule with flexibility creates more ease and well-being than a schedule that is too rigid. The family may want to talk in advance about what events or situations might warrant a change in the plan and how to build breathing room into the schedule. Considering contingencies ahead of time can even create predictability within unpredictable changes in plans. How will your family respond mindfully when a crisis comes up? A website called Confident Parents, Confident Kids is one place that offers planning tools to help design practical, plan-ahead answers. The agency's leaders recommend creating a plan for what each member can do and practicing that plan to prepare all members to act with emotional intelligence during a crisis, big or small. For example, an emotional safety plan template offers strategies for an adult time out. Do you have a plan for what to do or where to go if you start to become emotionally dysregulated? If stepping away from littles is not an option, there may be a special object or a breathing practice for a plan ahead strategy. The Child Mind Institute defines mindfulness as anything that helps everyone take a moment to slow down, stay present, and come together. The agency has a variety of articles about mindful parenting and tips for calming anxiety during a difficult time. One suggestion is to make a nature walk more mindful by noticing the environment with intention. Here's a simple meditation that can become a family conversation. What does the air feel like? What do the birds sound like? What do you smell? Do the trees or plants have a smell? Is everyone noticing the same things? I recently took my toddler grandsons on a scavenger hunt nature walk. Before we left home, we built a page of pictures we thought we might find. We took turns circling things on the list as we saw or heard them. A barking dog, a person on a bicycle, a tall tree, a squirrel, a pine cone, and so on. Because of our intention to notice things and mark them on our list, we were more aware of our surroundings and had a shared mindful experience on our walk. A day when everyone is calm and well-regulated takes less energy and feels more productive. But a bit of learning up front may be necessary to get to that place of ease. Social emotional learning, often called SEL, is part of modern education, but it's something that all people are working on for the lifetime. An agency called CASEL, which stands for Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, describes SEL as a process for effectively managing emotions, reaching toward goals, experiencing empathy, maintaining positive relationships, and making responsible decisions. Children often learn SEL skills through the modeling of well-regulated adults. Family caregivers can consider how their own SEL is going and whether all the adults in a child's life are using a similar vocabulary when it comes to understanding and communicating about emotions. The investment in time to learn SEL skills and strategies can have a long-term payoff. CASEL's website is one place to learn more about SEL. Families who need more help can also consult with SEL experts within their school districts. One strategy for building a family schedule is to start with a basic school schedule. Family caregivers can ask school staff to collaborate on building flexible routines that work for the school, the student, and the whole family, particularly during this time that might include distance learning. Here is one example from a website called teacherspayteachers.com that shows an editable template for a school schedule while students are learning from home. Note that family caregivers can request parent training as a related or ancillary service included in a student's individualized education program, IEP. Related services often include occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech, or nursing. The related service of parent training might include help with collecting data to support progress monitoring. Another option for parent training might be guidance on how to support behavior. Support for social emotional skill development is another way that schools might train parents to enable student access to learning. Family caregivers may want to ask the school district to provide a support person who would collaborate on designing a flexible, workable daily routine for a student while learning is embedded into the family's daily at-home routines. Moving into the second part of our training agenda, we're going to look at some ways to be with big feelings. Being with whatever we are experiencing is mindfulness in its simplest and most practical form. Generally, people do better if they acknowledge big feelings instead of trying to repress them. Put simply, squished emotions often loom larger. Sesame Street's Here for Each Other series of family videos includes this short one called Big Feelings. There's a picture of Elmo and his caregiver here at the start of the video. Elmo's caregiver helps him understand that it's okay to not be happy all the time and to feel lots of different things, even when it's uncomfortable. What's important is to find a strategy to remember that we're okay, like hugging a stuffed animal or telling somebody about what's happening. These are strategies for all ages and abilities because big feelings take everyone into a similar place of uncertainty and basic human fear. The PDF of this slide presentation includes a link to this short Sesame Street video, which is also easily found through a search online. When supporting someone who is experiencing big feelings, it's important to talk and listen in a non-judgmental way. Family caregivers can also use this strategy for inner work and self-care. Let's use these questions for a short experiment right now. Check in with yourself and make sure you are comfortable. And then simply ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? After asking, it's a great time to be quiet and wait in listening mode. If you get out of your way and avoid any need to judge, what answers emerge? If you notice big feelings, can you be willing to acknowledge them as real and happening? Are you willing to say to yourself, wow, that's a lot to feel? Can you let yourself be okay with what is true without a need to change anything? If you might have a similar dialogue with another person, it's important to really listen instead of getting yourself ready to talk. Tell me more is a way to encourage a dialogue instead of a debate. Understanding basic aspects of neuroscience can help build empathy and skill building for yourself and for others. Deep in the brain is the amygdala, which is where emotions live. Neuroscientist Dan Siegel calls that more primitive part our downstairs brain. Upstairs is the prefrontal cortex, where problem solving and learning happen. A flipped lid happens when big feelings toss you into downstairs brain. Critical thinking goes offline until a person feels safe. With practice, a person of any age can learn to notice whether they are feeling their lid about to flip. Before speaking or making a decision, it's best to find a safe space to breathe, rest, and recover a feeling of self-control. Family caregivers and teachers can work on this skill in order to model it and teach it to children. Dan Siegel uses the phrase, name it to tame it, to talk about the importance of recognizing big feelings in order to work with them. Mindfulness practices are a way to improve emotional intelligence by working out with your mind. Body sensing is one way to bring mindfulness to feelings that impact the whole body. With gentleness, you can try this right now. To become present, take a moment to orient yourself in the space that you are in. Are you sitting on furniture? Can you touch and feel the ground? What do you see, smell, or hear? Now notice your inner landscape, your legs, body, arms, hands, head, and face. Where in your body do you feel something? What word or words can you use to describe the feeling that is there? What's happening in your body now? Doing this work slowly and in a safe place is a wonderful way to build more emotional intelligence and allow yourself to be with big feelings without getting derailed by them. Don't wait for a big explosion to practice. It's best to start with small feelings when things are going relatively smoothly, so that your emotional muscles will be strong enough to work with the body sensing practice during a bigger event. We talked about the downstairs brain. When a person is fully dysregulated, there is no chance for having a rational discussion. Choices, rewards, punishments will fail to incentivize any change in the behavior. Instead, the person needs to feel safe in order to let the brain get back upstairs. Here's a starter list of options for creating a safe space for yourself or someone else in a tough moment. A drink of water, a stuffy, a favorite blanket. These might work. Sensory tools like weighted blankets, or for some kids, a place to jump it out, such as a trampoline, might be helpful. It's best to build an individualized toolkit when things are going well. Your family might want to do emotional emergency drills and test the plans. The predictability of having a plan might even support a quicker return to regulation. Practicing mindfulness changes the way the brain functions. VELCRO and TEFLON can help explain some key reasons why. Throughout evolution, primitive humans had to survive some dangerous situations. You know, saber-toothed tigers and that sort of thing. The brain got good at clinging to bad memories in order to sound the alarms and keep a body safe. Happy moments, like a cozy night's sleep or a pretty sunset, didn't take up much memory space because the brain didn't need those memories for basic survival. The brain evolved to hang on to fear-based memories like VELCRO, while letting pleasant memories slide off like Teflon. The trouble is that today's stressors may not be life-threatening, but the brain cannot tell the difference between stress and true danger. It clings to stress just like it clung to memories of tiger attacks. Here's a way to hack the system. By focusing attention on moments that are going well, a person can create a VELCRO moment from a pleasant memory. When sight, sound, smell, touch, and other sensations are hardwired into the memory, It becomes an inner resource. Reminding yourself of any aspect of that memory can help take you there so the inner resource can support feelings of empowerment, ease, confidence, serenity, happiness, and so on. Here's an example of a multisensory mind map that creates an inner resource memory. The center of the slide shows a dendrite from the brain, and all around it are pictures that express different sensory experiences that are all part of a single memory. When I'm at the beach, I notice smells, feelings, emotions, sounds, visuals, tastes, all the details that are part of my enjoyable experience. Neurons that wire together, fire together. So I can return to any place in this memory later to access the entire map of the memory. I can experience myself being there again and rest in the feelings. This multisensory memory becomes an inner resource to me. You can practice using existing memories as inner resources, and you can build new ones by paying extra careful attention and making new multisensory mind maps when things are going well. People of all ages can build vocabulary to better understand the complex possibilities for human emotions and feelings. Pinterest and other online locations provide pictures and charts to support skill building in how to name emotions. Remember, name it to tame it. Identifying emotions is a great place to start. A next step is to recognize that feelings come and go, but they are not who you are. You might consider saying this out loud to yourself. I have feelings, but I'm not my feelings. It's important to pause and give yourself time to be with a thought experiment like this one. After some time, you might consider what happens when you recognize a feeling or emotion in the act of forming or changing. This can be a conversation you have in your own mind or with another person. I have feelings, but I'm not my feelings. The third aspect of today's agenda is to take a closer look at how we breathe. Most of the time, we breathe without thinking about it or noticing. But practicing breath with attention can make us better breathers. Having that skill in place when things get difficult can impact the outcome of a rough patch. When panic starts to take over, for example, a steady, even breath can help the nervous system stay more regulated. Sometimes another person might say, take a deep breath. That's not always good advice because a deep inhale stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, which moves the body into action. The nervous system might misunderstand and think it needs to fight or flee. These reactions trigger more anxiety. The exhale stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which cues the body to relax. But exhaling too long can also mess up the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide, causing a panic response. Balancing the gases of respiration helps the body regulate in an even, steady way. With the next slide, we're going to do a short breathing exercise together. Start by just noticing your breath and watch it. Start counting as you inhale and notice how long that lasts. Start to match the inhale count and the exhale count. Don't try to slow your breath down, but gently try to make each breath about the same, counting the same time on the inhale and the exhale. No need to fill or empty your lungs all the way. Keep it easy. Let's breathe evenly in this way for just another round or two. To support families, I've recorded a library of short breathing practices that are posted to Pave's website, wapave.org. You can easily find them by typing mindfulness videos into the search bar on our homepage. This is a snip of the current library with me at the beach giving one of the presentations. These breathing mindfulness videos are all less than 5 minutes long and accessible to all ages and most abilities. Here are a few additional ideas for practicing mindfulness and breathing with the whole family. One idea is to blow up balloons and talk about how air moves between the sky, the lungs, and the balloon. Another idea is to blow bubbles and watch them float away. You can talk about how feelings can float away, like the bubbles. They're not permanent. Another idea is to paint words or pictures onto a rock and leave it somewhere or throw it into a body of water. This can remind everybody that emotions come and go. They aren't who you are, and they don't define you. The rest of our slides provide additional places to seek resources. The National Federation for Children's Mental Health, featured on this slide, provides a library of practical, ready-to-use tools that are organized for different ages and stages. The Washington Department of Health also provides a toolbox for families with some specific elements related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Coping and wellness strategies are part of a campaign that the Washington Healthcare Authority includes on its website. For concerns specifically related to the COVID-19 pandemic, the state provides a helpline called Washington Listens. Call 833-681-0211. TTY and language access services are available for this anonymous support. An agency called Start Talking Now is found at starttalkingnow.org, which provides resources and guidance for family caregivers who need more help talking with young people about substance use. Here's a list of Pave's contact information. You can find us online at wapave.org. That's WAPAVE.org. Another way to get help is by calling our toll-free number 800-572-7368. Another place for resources and information is our Facebook page. You can follow us at Parent Training and Information of Washington. Pave's Parent Training and Information Center, our PTI, is a federally funded program. We provide one-to-one support, training, and information that is free for Washington State parents, youth, and professionals and other family caregivers who want to better understand how to navigate educational systems. To scan through articles and resources, click Learning in School on the homepage of our website, wapave.org. The blue arrow on this slide is pointing to that tab. You can search for articles by typing a keyword into the search bar. The red arrow on this slide is pointing to the search bar. After typing your word or words, press the search button. For direct assistance, you can click Get Help from the toolbar in the upper right-hand corner of the page. The purple arrow is pointing to that Get Help tab. If you download a PDF of this PowerPoint, these resource links on this slide will take you to a variety of materials Pave has created to support families during the pandemic. You can also look them up with keywords using the search feature on our website. Here's a hint. If you look up the article Fall 2020, Ready or Not, you will find this resource list at the end of that article. This slide is a reminder that Pave is not a legal service agency and cannot provide advocacy, advice, or legal representation. Our goal is to empower families by providing information and access to resources. Thank you for taking time today to learn more about caring for yourself and those you love. Incorporating even some of these strategies into your daily routine might impact positive change. Remember that you are strong, capable, and resilient like a starfish. Lean into your supports and keep your own oxygen flowing in order to assist others with kindness and empathy. And remember to save enough kindness and empathy for yourself. Take care and be well.